There we
He
go.
doesn't
Don't want
need
to
to do
waste any of the gold, do we?
Right. Good morning and welcome to the Hobby Breakfast Show. Back at it again. I'm OT and I'm joined today by Onod
On that grind.
and the Mayor.
Happy New Year, Scrubs.
Yeah, and today we're giving our take on the competitive Met. No. We're giving our take on the some of the new Armylists that have come out and our unique perspective on some different categories within them. We're also going to talk about hobby, and we're not going to bother with news. Without further ado, let's talk about hobby. I haven't done any, so I'm going to defer to.
It's a surprise.
I'm going to defer to. Let's go to Onod first.
Man, yeah. I've painted quite a lot of stuff actually since we last talked hobby, because that was, I don't know, literally like a year ago.
Wait.
Thank you. Yeah, I've painted some more stuff for my like Bronze Age thing, which I probably last painted like a year ago, so no one remember. I think I'm editing this, aren't I? So stuff will have very briefly flashed in front of you. I painted some Blood Bowl. I painted my Black Hawk team. I painted my Ogre team. Only 7s, so not like a full team. I painted Master Chief, the new Halo game. I haven't got around to painting any of the others yet. And then in terms of stuff that people will actually probably be interested in, I have painted Gimli. And there he is. I've painted Legolas. And I have painted Boromir. They are from the delightful plastic set that everyone adores. Never heard
Gimli's
a bad
alright.
thing. Never heard a bad thing said about it. To be fair, I quite like the Boromir.
Really?
Yeah, I quite like the Boromir. Don't have too many complaints about him.
I mean, there's nothing really wrong with him. He's just not particularly interesting as a sculpt.
I don't really think they've done a really interesting Boromir sculpt.
Well, his White Tower one's all right with the big flag.
Oh yeah, but that's not like Fellowship Boromir, is it?
No, it's different.
Yeah, I'll say that White Tower is the best one. Yeah, I actually don't mind it though. The only sculpt I really like actively dislike of these three is Legolas.
Yeah,
I don't get why they did him looking forwards. Why didn't they just do his head looking where he's shooting?
Is this the worst Legolas sculpt?
Yes. Yeah, I think so. But anyway, I don't want to buy another one, so there he is. So yeah, that's my Fellowship of the Ring completed. And that's my hobby. Meh, your turn.
What have I done? I have very, very quickly painted a bunch of Ukluk Scouts, which I really enjoyed putting together. They are 26 parts for 24 models, and there's no question about where they sit on the base because of the slots, which I absolutely love. So there's a bit of nostalgia for me in building them, having built them, painted them, played them in War of the Ring, and sold them about 8 years ago. So yes, I sort of panic bought. I cleared.
Must be more than 8 years ago.
Really? Oh god, that's sad.
I refuse to believe that.
When did you sell them? Like 2012 or something?
God, that's 12 years ago. Bloody hell.
15 years ago,
actually. 13. God, maths is not my strength.
Quick maths there.
So anyway, I'm old. No.
That's news.
That's the news section done. No, I enjoyed painting them. And that is all I've done. I'm planning on painting the rest of them fairly soon. I mean, just use them all in a tournament, playing 11 games over 3 days, which was
goodness.
I learned a lot about the army. That was my
probably
hobby.
Going to talk about that later, right? So
maybe I don't know. I probably won't do a video on it, to be honest.
No, I meant in this video.
Are we?
Well, I don't
Okay.
know. I assumed
Are you
were
going to
gonna
talk about
Ugly
Ugly?
Scouts.
Anyway,
So it's
fine.
gonna be the one that I was planning to collect. Believe it or not.
Oh, there you go.
Spoilers.
Spoiler alerts. OT, do you want to talk about a token thing for hobby, or are you just not going to engage?
I've played a bunch of Legion games, and yeah, they were a good fun was had by all.
Nice.
Except your opponents.
And me.
Shout out to that guy in the comments who hates us talking about Legion. Should we move on?
Yep.
To the game of Love, Marry, Airfry. Oh.
Yes, an explanation might be in order.
Nah.
Rather than go through the army lists in a normal way, we've instead decided to do it in a really unhelpful way for everyone involved. So it's Love, Marry, Avoid, or as OT called it the other day, Love, Marry, Kill, which I think is a bit of a red flag. But there we go. But the premise is we're going to be each picking 4 lists. There might be some overlap. So it might not
almost certainly will, depending
might not
on
end up being 12. One list that we are going to collect this edition, it doesn't, I guess, have to strictly speaking be completely from scratch. He says, because his isn't. But yeah, something that we're oh, I want to play that this edition, maybe. One list that we want to sort of we think looks interesting, but we're not planning on playing, which we have called either okay or watch.
I think we go watch.
Watch
it's
is
easier.
what we've gone with. One list that we own that we're shelving, that we don't want to play. And then one list that we want removed from the game. So basically, each of us are going to give 2 lists we like, one that we're going to play and one that we're not, and then 2 lists we don't like, one that we could play and one that we just don't like. That's basically the video.
Couldn't be simpler, could it?
It's definitely content.
We're all looking for a nut.
It's definitely content. Let's start off with collect. Man,
I'm first on the list. Well, as you might have surmised, beautiful viewer or listener, I'm going to be collecting Ugly Scouts, and in fact, I have already purchased, assembled, based, and painted and played 11 games of Ugly Scouts, who are my selection. I've collected Isengard longer than any other army in my collection, and I've never played Scouts other than in War of the Ring, and ended up selling them after that. And I just never felt the need to play Uruk-hai Scouts, so I always had the kind of classic Isengard look in my personal appearance. No, in the game, and I've enjoyed playing them. I didn't feel the need to have another variant of Scout, another variant of Uruk-hai even. But Ugly Scouts just looked really interesting and kind of good and kind of cool, and enough of a change in play style to justify me collecting them. So I have. And there's probably a lot more painting to do.
How did you find them?
Yeah, I was going to say, at the tournament, how did you find
them? Well, I think there's probably quite a high skill ceiling for them. I probably brought... I didn't bring enough bows, that's for sure. I had 4 bows in a 450 list. I ended up playing a mirror match at one point where my opponent had 10 bows. And I struggled against all Cavalists that could mainly avoid me and shoot me. The shields only help with strength 2 or strength 4, of which there wasn't a ton. Most things were strength 3, especially all the Dale armies and things like that. So I didn't take as many bows because I thought more shields, that must be good. But actually, defense 4 maybe isn't as bad as I was thinking, or at least not in this meta where you kind of want to kill eagles. And then when I was playing armies that had a more or less equal amount of models, or maybe a bit less, but certainly no monsters. It seemed to struggle a little bit more, but maybe that was just me. And there's some nice things you can do with Uglug, like putting an orc in front of him, having your enemy charge that orc, and then killing him with Uglug to get the bonus, and then charging in. Or even, if your opponent does a heroic combat or is trying to do a heroic combat off of an orc, and it's very obvious, you can just go and kill that orc if you're standing next to him. So I'd say I probably didn't build the list as well as it could have, but I had 3 wins, 1 draw, and 3 losses in the GBHL 100. So they were fun to play. I think they probably got stale after 11 games, but I think that's probably true of any list.
I think SBG gets stale after.
I was going to say, I'm not sure you can play any game for 3 days and not want to go and do something else afterwards.
Yeah.
But no, it was fun, and Uglug was very thematic. You really don't want to lose him in this army.
Yeah.
As I found out on the first day.
Yeah.
I threw him into the Goblin King with my other 2 heroes, trying to strike. Really felt the strike meant that while on paper the army does well against monsters, you're really hoping for them to fluff their rolls. So I did well against the Eagles because unfortunately my opponent was very unlucky, or fortunate for me. And striking was very difficult, especially with this Fight 5 hero against monsters. So I couldn't win consistently. I had to rely on my opponent's bad luck. Whereas, if strike was D6, I think monsters probably wouldn't be as prevalent. But there we are. We are where we are. And I feel like a meta is already sort of forming.
Only to be completely fucked up when they bring out the match play guide and all the scenarios change.
Yeah, maybe.
The monster meta.
But yeah, so that's what I'll be collecting. And as I said, already collected it. I just need to finish painting it. I don't think there is really very much else that I'm interested in collecting at the moment. So that is my collect.
Yeah. Onod, what's yours?
So mine is just basic Fellowship of the Ring. Emphasis on basic.
Yeah.
To
be
fair, I've had this. I've had this for quite a long time, sort of half painted, and now I finished painting it. But yeah, so for me, when I'm looking at Fellowship, there's a couple things I quite like about Fellowship this edition. First of all, it doesn't have too many army bonus rules that feel ridiculously over the top. So I don't feel like I'm like having to rely on that, I guess. And the buffs feel like they've come from kind of small tweaks to the characters. Obviously, Legolas feels very good at the moment. So he's doing a lot more work. But it's just little things like, I like that Bill is a banner for everyone now.
Yeah, that's a good change.
That just like feels so much more fun. I like that Gandalf is 2 attacks. Like I still probably wouldn't take him over most of the others. No. But like at big points, like I don't feel like he's so much of a tax. Like I feel like he is maybe slightly more useful. I like that Boromir gets like little buffs from having hobbits around. Aragorn, I think it's a shame that he's lost like Anduril access and like can't take him on a horse anymore. And like obviously I've got like a conversion that I did so that Aragorn had like a pony, but never mind. I'm not too heartbroken. But yeah, I think it feels to me more doable at different points levels now as well. Because like I know I can get a banner in, so I feel like it'll be a bit more kind of like doable. And I quite like all hero armies. I'm just kind of was the one that I kind of looked at and went, yeah, go on then. So yeah, that's what I'm going for. I don't think it'll be very good, but I don't really care. Don't really care that much, to be honest. And OT, do you want to take us through what you're looking at?
I'm kind of torn because I think mine will either be, I say either, in the sense that I may not actually end up doing either of these. It might be Lothlorien or it might be Breaking the Fellowship. And I think Breaking looks fun now because you can have a decent Lothlorien contingent, of which I already have most of the models for. So I just need to paint up a few Fellowship members, which would be quite fun. I think I mentioned on the last episode that I might try and get hold of like a metal Breaking the Fellowship or something, which I think would be quite cool. So that's kind of the safe, easy option. On the other side, I just think Lothlorien looks really fun. I think it looks kind of wacky. And
Remind us what's wacky and fun about it.
So Celeborn and Galadriel. Well, Celeborn's a caster now, not a melee hero, which I think is quite funny. Both of your big heroes are unarmed D4, which I strength 4, which I think is quite funny. And they have rules to do with elven cloaks, so you can re-roll hit rolls of 1 when making a shooting attack if the target of the shooting attack can't see you because of the elven cloak. So I don't know. I just think, and then Celeborn's got the what's the spell called? It's like Writhing Vines or something, yeah. Which I think just sounds really funny. Like you can just like mire people down in difficult terrain and things like that, which sounds quite entertaining. But yeah, I don't know. It just because I can't see myself going to any tournaments, to be honest, in the near future. I just think taking a sort of slightly wacky army that just does something different to any army I've played before sounds quite entertaining. So that might be where I end up.
Cool. So you're thinking of collecting it, or if you had to collect something, you would collect it?
I think it's unlikely I actually do this, but I think if I get hit by some MESPG related motivation halfway through the year, these are probably the two most likely options. Like if there was a made to order for the metal Breaking the Fellowship, I would probably get it. And if I don't know, if I just want to collect a more normal army, I'd probably get Lothlorien, but I think those are the main two that would appeal to me.
To be fair, I mean, you've probably got a few years of this edition.
Yeah.
So
I would hope so.
I think you've got a reasonable amount of time to kind of build your
collection,
your steam up to actually do it.
I mean, I'll be interested to see actually if my motivation does increase, or if I'm just if this is how I exist now, where I'm just quite cynical about the whole thing. But I'd like to think I'll get back into it at some point.
Get back into it, just probably won't ever be on like a level where you're actually gonna go to tournaments and stuff. That's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. What armies are we going to? We're calling this watch, aren't we? What armies are we watching?
Yeah, Mayor, do you want to kick us off?
I'm going to be watching 3 Trolls. I saw a few people playing them the weekend at the event, and they just looked fun. I just think the breadth of rules that you can give them makes them look fun, and I don't know how well they did as a list, but I did see quite a few of them around the mid tables, so that tells me that maybe they're fairly balanced? So, maybe they might actually be okay against Eagleists. Someone's going to disagree with me wholeheartedly, but I just think they're cool. I think they're fun. I think they're probably a bit silly, which is probably probably a good reflection of them.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that they're really going to work, like adding the rules for 50 points? Or do you think that eventually it gets to the point where it's like, no matter how much stuff you give them, you've still only got 3 models, and it's like, it's just not going to do it at 1,000 points, guys?
I imagine that is the case. I think you can go up to 900. But yeah, I think 300 points per model, like, are they going to be that good? Probably not. They're slow. Eagles are good because you can put them out anywhere and use the dominant. These will obviously have dominant, but they're not going to be as fast. They're going to be easier to confine, but I still think they'll be fun, and they'll be even sillier at higher points. Trying to remember all the rules is probably going to be a massive pain in the ass for whoever does that. But
They do have some cool stuff. Like I
They
think,
do.
I mean, I think the obvious choice is full bellies. Like that feels like
Yeah.
like all of them.
Most
getting
people took that, I think, at the
crazy.
event.
But like Cover of Darkness is quite fun. Just like making it night if you want to. Like I think that could be quite powerful potentially. Yeah, it looks really interesting. And I like that it rounds out evenly and like obviously I guess it's been done for a reason, but like iterations of 50.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. So I'll be if I see it as a tournament, I'll probably ask people how they're getting on.
Nice.
I mean, I have 3 trolls if you want to borrow them.
I'll sit. Maybe I will.
I will need to get the new base for the camp at some point, but depending on what size it is, I might actually have one the right size lying around. In which case, I'll just do that at some point when I'm bored. Am I going second every time, or are we mixing it up?
I don't know. We can mix it up if we want to keep it fresh.
You go second then, AT. What are you watching?
Defenders of the Hornburg.
Oh yeah, your fucking spam list.
I will not be convinced that this is not OP, and I think at some point it will become completely obnoxious. But we'll see.
Do you want to explain to people?
Well, it's like this. Every friendly Rohan infantry gets dominant 2, and I think if you just don't bother with the big heroes and you just take captains with no kit and warriors with no kit, at 450 points you can get 49 models in, I think, which with dominant 2 gets you up to like 98, which like obviously you're going to lose all the fights, but I think it might just be the case that you have so many dudes on the objectives that maybe you can just win anyway.
Can you have Cav or no?
No.
Okay. I was going to say dominant works for recon now, which is nice. But other than that, I think it's just domination and
Oh, you can have Cav. Sorry, you can have Riders of Rohan.
You can, okay, but it's only infantry that get the bonus.
Yeah.
So you might get away with running a couple Cav off if you're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
In recon, I'm just thinking. I think only 2 of the other objectives, 2 of the other games actually have objectives. So if you're playing those scenarios, yes.
4 of the current scenarios can be affected by dominant.
Okay, which are the other ones?
So destroy the supplies. If you don't actually destroy them, they're just a regular objective of
Right,
source.
yes.
So dominant counts towards those. You've got the central objective. You've got the multiple objective. If you run off the table, if you have it inbuilt, it counts. And then there's one other one that I can't remember that does have it count towards it. So 4 out of 6, the current ones, dominant can affect.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, I am slightly taking the piss because I think it's unlikely to actually be good, and I've never played it, and I never intend to. But I will be really pleased if this shows up at some point and it turns out that it's actually insanely good. But it may be that it's just not usable at all. We shall see.
I feel like if you can crack like an optimum level of dominant, it might be really good.
Yeah.
I think it's about like once you work out kind of the averages of how many dudes your opponent is likely to have, so you can start like really like nailing how many dudes you have.
Yeah.
So that you can like exploit the dominant sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, eagles are partially good because of dominant, right? Because
it just helps out monsters massively, doesn't it? Like especially maneuverable monsters, as Mayor said, that like if you're losing, if your opponent commits a load of dudes to an objective and you can get away and go and win 2 other objectives because they've only got 2 guys on it and your guy counts as 3, then more power to you. Like I think, yeah, I can definitely see with eagles and that maneuverability how manipulating dominant could be really good.
Yeah.
What's yours? What are you going to be watching?
I'm going for Last Alliance.
Fucking hell. Just roll 6s.
The whirly roll 6s rule.
Yeah.
I just want to see what happens.
It's going to be devastating.
Yeah, I think it will be devastating. This is such a shit answer, but against like the right kind of lists, right? Like,
That's a very Michael Owen
yeah, it really is. It
answer there,
doesn't.
isn't it?
Yeah, the team that tends to scores more goals tends to win. But like, if you are playing an army that relies on charging you, like I could just see like if it's like an all cav army or something, and you just roll an at 6 and take out their horse or something, like that's just such a game changer. Like I don't know it. Yeah.
Is the way to face this list just not to charge it?
Well,
Just
maybe right.
stand an inch away and go like, actually, you can have the priority.
But then presumably you just bring enough bows that they have to come and get you. And then you just have I don't know. It's just seems obnoxious.
The Numenor guys get elven bows now, don't they?
Yeah, they get this. Is it the steel bows or something they're called?
The 1 point long bows.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can really spam the strength 3 shooting.
Yeah,
well,
and
I say spam. Not really.
Yeah,
it's quite
relatively speaking.
Army, but relatively speaking, yeah.
But I don't know. It looks pretty strong, and
I'm just kind of like curious as to like what happens when you just because it's not even like if you roll a 6, you strength 4 wound. It's like they just take a wound, and I'm like, does that kind of like just completely destroy? I'm gonna say probably not.
Yeah.
But
it seems pretty good, doesn't it?
It does seem pretty good.
And there will just be games where you
just roll 6s.
Yeah. Well, but it's like Leggy shooting into combat, right? Like I was saying to you guys, like if Leggy gets charged by a cavalry model, like if he's able to kill that horse, that entire engagement fundamentally changes, right? Like it goes from being him massively disadvantaged to him probably actually being even with the hero or whatever he's fighting. Like it is just. I think it's a really interesting design decision they've taken. That like,
it's just an interesting list. Like it almost your worst troopers fight 5.
Yeah, that's mad.
You can, if you want, take base elven warriors that fight 6 with Gilgalad's upgrade. You got a fight 9 hero in a world D3 strike. I don't think I can be. Well, I definitely can't be bothered to collect it. And I also like this isn't really a sort of art to me. In that it might be good.
And also,
like I do just want to like if I see a bat rep of this, I don't normally watch like a lot of bat reps, but I probably will watch one with this and just to see it how it does.
Because the other thing I've just noticed is it's not friendly Numenor warrior models; it's friendly Numenor models may reroll to wound rolls with natural 1 when making strikes if they're supported or supporting a friendly Rivendell model. So if you get a spear on Elendil, he's strength 5 burly re-rolling 1s.
Yeah. Well, I think it's also interesting because
holy shit.
There's 2. You want the elves on the front line, I guess, because then you get the 6s.
Yeah.
And then you have your Numenor spear supports so that they get the rerolls.
Yeah.
It's really unfortunate, isn't it, that the plastic Numenor warriors have swords.
Yeah.
It's how they get you, man. It's how they get you. It's a real oof there. Oof.
Can have just spam that. Hang on, they can take spears, can't they? Where'd you get the spears from?
It's a fine crap model.
Oh, of course it is. Fantastic.
Yeah. The bow guys are fine crap models too. So basically the ones you want
are behind a paywall.
Like no one in this list is taking guys with swords. You always want them behind the elves.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. Somebody who's richer. I definitely want to see. This.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Should we do shelve?
Yeah.
Mayor's going for a spicy shelve, I think.
I didn't think I was going to do this.
Big shelf.
Clip this up for when he inevitably comes crawling back.
Until they do something, I'm not sure I'm going to be playing Goblin Town. If they do anything, I think obviously it was very strong before due to the mass models, but a lot of the fun from Goblin Town for me anyway was they're slow, but you can have mercenaries popping out of places or goblins coming onto the board. That for me made it fun to play. Now you're not going to have anywhere near as many models because the cost of a goblin went up by 20%, and the ring is no longer as good as it was. So golem's pretty much pointless. You can't use the ring in conjunction with the king, which I admit was a bit gamey, but it was one of the tools that has gone. The songs are fine. They don't make up for those changes at all, in my opinion. They help, and they're probably a bit situational, but they don't help anywhere near as much as it looks like they do on paper. Like I said, I did play against this. My opponent used the terror one to good effect. I forced him to move first, so he moved right into my face, and then made me have to take a bunch of terror checks. Unfortunately for him, all my Urks were fearless because of Uglug. But besides the point, so that helped.
Do you think
and then,
it might have been more helpful against, say, not a fearless?
it definitely would have been more helpful, but equally, I don't think it actually mattered very much in the context of the game. He made his guys feel no pain. He saved one goblin for a turn. Congratulations. And then the banner effect, I think maybe he won one more fight in a round. So, I don't know, it just felt really underwhelming. And he didn't have anywhere near the numbers that he needed to swarm me. It was just sort of a battle line. And after that game, I just thought, I was kind of okay thinking about playing Goblin Town. I even considered it for the event, but I just think there are more fun lists I'm interested in, and sadly these are just I don't know. A lot of the fun is left for me, and so Grinner doesn't get his swap with me with a king either anymore.
You hate to see
the king's not even dominant. He doesn't have dominant.
Does he not? Well, he must
No.
do because he's leader. He'll be dominant.
Oh yeah, so yeah, I go. Yeah,
but he's only normal dominant, not exciting.
It's just not built into his profile because you have to take him anyway.
That I guess that makes sense. Yeah, but yeah, like I said, a lot of the fun elements have gone for me, so I'll be shelving them this year or this edition probably.
Eef. There we go.
My poor goblins.
Man,
you,
army.
You're going to be shelving one of the best games.
Shelving Dale.
Why?
I don't know.
You enjoy playing good lists.
No, I mean, like, I do not want to be that guy that, like, the only time I play at a tournament is when I rock up with one of the meta lists, and then I either get absolutely binned, which is kind of embarrassing, or do really well, in which case it's, I don't want to be that guy either. So, yeah. I don't know, like, it just doesn't look like a list I would enjoy playing. Like, if people want to play it, fine, but it looks like a list where you camp at the back, shoot people, and then when their weakened force arrives, you finish them off with your +1 to wound and all that shenanigans. Like, it doesn't look fun for me. So yeah, I won't be playing it.
So I did play against this twice at the weekend. One on Recon, where I only got shot at twice by the Black Arrows, but because in Recon there's no deployment zone, so your only +1 to wound bonus is from the artillery piece. Yeah. So he just like moved that with his army, to get the +1, which was interesting. So I think you could play it kind of weirdly, like a weird hybrid combat army, where you just shoot a couple times with the wind lance and then charge it forward with your guys and kind of have a battle line. Yeah. It's probably not that exciting though. No. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. But yeah, I have zero interest in running this list now. I only really enjoyed it when it was comboed with Thralls because I just found that a fun combination. But yeah, like, I mean, there is still the Thralls army, to be fair, which actually looks all right. So maybe I would run it in combination with Thralls. But again, like, I think I have to be very realistic about how many games of MESPG I'm actually going to play this year, and I'm not sure I'd want to waste it on playing a game with a list that I don't think is fun.
Makes sense.
On odd.
I'm going to be shelving Arm.
Why are you doing that?
I'm just not vibing with the bullshit spells.
The thing is, they made Saruman a worse caster, but then made him have more powerful abilities, which I think's interesting. Like
the thing is I obviously built this list before it was like a real list. So
Yeah.
I was running like Saruman, a load of orcs, and then
it's
I
a
was
common
running.
theme, isn't it? You
I
being
was
ahead of the curve.
running. I know. I was running a couple of bombs because in the lore, like when the Ents attack Isengard, they kind of like they get all of the like machinery going, and they were like belching fire and stuff. So that was what the bombs were representing.
Yeah.
The bombs were like the fun bit of the army.
Yeah.
And now it's like I guess the like spells are kind of like more reliable bombs. But I feel like taking the like actual trying to explode a bomb out of the list, I'm just not that like. I'm not sure that's actually that fun for me anymore.
And I think it's an interesting list, but
yeah, it's just
I can understand not wanting to play it.
And I think like realistically to run the list, I have to play it like I'd have to go and get a load of wild men.
You're missing some models, aren't you? Yeah.
I'd probably be wanting to take like Uruk-hai scouts. Like I can't really just run it as it. It just being like pointless to take. So
it's a shame they couldn't do like the version that you built yourself, where it's Saruman and orcs against.
I mean, I don't mind having like wild men in, but I'm not really sure why the scouts are there. I think it's just a really weird decision that they've replicated the Isengard list from the first film where they don't fight anyone, but they've not replicated the list where in the second film they do actually fight the Ents. I don't know.
Yeah.
When I first saw that they had done like a list of like Saruman and the orcs, I was like, oh cool, like this is actually my list. And then after I've actually like read the rules and thought about it, I'm like, it's not actually my list. And I don't know if I actually can be bothered with these like one use spells. They just don't really feel like SPG to me.
Yep.
But anyway,
40K.
I wouldn't go that far. Shelving. Which list are we air frying?
I can go first.
Yeah, which crispy little nugget of SPG are we chucking in the air fryer?
Pits of Dol Guldur.
Bits of shit.
Classic.
Why?
Why does it exist? Like, why is this a thing? like, I don't know. I've read the rules through, and it is one of the least compelling things I've read in my life. Like, it just seems to have nothing cool, and like even from a competitive sense, as far as I can tell, it's just completely outclassed by what's it, like the other Azog force, whatever the fuck it's called.
The one with the banner and stuff.
Yeah,
Azog 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. Army of Gundabad, there you go. Like, I don't know. Like I can't understand what would cause you to take this list over
brain hemorrhage? No.
Sorry.
The thing is, it will probably be good. Like last edition, everyone. Well, I say everyone. Some people that are shit the game didn't think that one of the Azog lists was good, and it turned out to be really good.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I dislike the theme of this. I dislike the rules of this. I think Azog's Hunters and the Army of Gundabad do the job perfectly well, and this doesn't add anything. And I think people wouldn't really miss it if it wasn't in the game.
Straight in the air fryer.
Probably right.
Yeah. Onod, what are you doing?
I'm air frying Smaug.
Fucking hell.
It's going to be a big air fryer.
An impressive achievement.
It's an expensive one as well, isn't it? Fucking hell. If somebody wants to send me a Smaug and an air fryer, feel free. I think I've had this rant before, but why the fuck's he in the game?
Yeah.
He doesn't belong in the game.
It's Smaug and siege weapons are the two things that I'm not sure I can ever be fully persuaded on as to why. Smaug is more of a problem, I will admit. But like, firstly, the fact he only works at 1 point left. Well,
he only works. Well, yeah, you could take him at higher.
Yeah.
I just don't. I kind of hate that they've tried to make his army rules make it work.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
It's like the only thing that in the last edition made Smaug bearable.
Yeah.
Was that he wasn't actually good at the scenarios.
Yeah.
Now they've like given him like ultimate dominance.
Yeah.
Like just fuck you for trying to play the game against him, really.
Dominant 20.
But like no, it's not that. Whilst Smaug is in range of an objective, he's automatically considered to be holding it, and the opposition considers have no models within range of the objective marker. What? Why? Why have you done that? And why have you given him the dominant 20 rule? I mean, I know it's so that if you fly off the board, he counts as 20. But like, what a fucking shit rule! If you've already given him
in some scenarios, don't you?
If you've already given him dominant 20, yeah. If you're playing 700 points versus like Fellowship, you just fly off the board and win. They don't have enough models. It's like, sorry guys, unless Legolas can kill me with shooting in the next 2 turns, I'm gonna win the game.
Yeah. Could you transfix him?
I don't think that's gonna work. Isn't he like resistant to magic or something?
He is resistant to magic, yeah.
And he's also will 6, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got a lot of fucking rules, doesn't he? Hate that. In scenarios where models can carry objective markers, then when Smaug moves, he must always charge an enemy model. I guess at least that's a nerf, but I don't know if it really is, because if you've only got one model and your enemy's running away with the objective, you're probably going to be after them anyway, right?
Yep.
And then at the start of each game, after both sides have been deployed, Smaug's opposing player must select 3 of their models to be given a stash of golds. This must be different models. These models are given a gold mark, which is a light object, blah, 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 blah. Smaug gets more points for reclaiming them. And it's like, it's not going to be hard, is it?
No.
Unless your opponent is also running Smaug. Like, he's going to immediately kill them. I don't know. I'm sure that in reality, I will never play one.
Yeah.
He won't be competitive, and no one will actually find him a problem.
Yeah.
But that one time you go to a tournament and someone's actually brought one, and you're playing Reconnoitra, and you've got like a 30 model list, and you know that they're going to win if they just kill 10 models. Oof.
Yep.
Real feel bad. I don't know. I'm just not convinced he needs to be in the game. 20 wounds. Although, I tell you what, I would pay good money. Well, £5.
So yeah, money.
I would pay £5 to spectate a tournament match where somebody has brought Smaug to a 700-point tournament, and they get randomly matched up against Garrison of Dale in the first match, and they just insta-kill the dragon with one shot. 5 minutes in.
Can you do that?
Pretty sure.
I thought, does Smaug not have a thing where he can't be insta-killed?
I don't think Smaug can be insta-killed. I think that he can be 2-shot by it.
But he's got how many fate?
0.
What?
Boy, he doesn't have fate. He's got 20 wounds, so he doesn't need
I've
it
obviously
normally.
not looked at this profile properly.
He doesn't need it normally.
No.
Yeah, but just against an army which has Hatred Dragon. Yeah. If anyone to if anyone wants to arrange that, I will pay you £5.
Yeah.
You'll have to pay for my transport to the tournament.
Yeah.
So I don't know whether it will end up being a situation where you break even.
Yeah.
But
And
I
you have
will
to source
pay.
your own Smaug.
Yeah. Smaug not included. But yeah, if someone wants to sort that out for me, good on you. Mayor, if you want to finish us off.
My choice is Assault on Raven Hill.
Oh no!
You don't like throwing Orcrist? What?
Are you okay?
That's the most thematic rule in the game.
There's just so much wrong with this. It's everything that's wrong with
society.
With this edition.
With life. I mean, 2 of the models aren't even meant to be there. And I'm talking about the elves for those of you who are like, what is he talking about? Tariel,
Tariel is there.
That series of like scenes, like the Legolas jumping on the fucking rocks and all that. I just hated it, and I hate that this list exists. And if you play it, then I hate you.
Why does it hurt so much?
Because it was real. Cue zero emotional reaction from anyone in the audience as they forget which dwarf.
Yeah, was that Philly or Killy? Fuck.
Is it Bomber?
I'd be quite happy to say that that sequence is one of the better ones in that movie.
Because it was short.
Well, they didn't put the dwarves in the barrels riding down the river as an army, so.
Oh, that would have been such.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine if they'd put that in? Like, it can only be played on like water-based maps.
Yeah, they can only move in water. That I would have bought it. Count me in. What if they deploy with a river? You have to bring a river that's exactly 4 foot long.
You build the river in front of your dudes as you play, so they create their own meandering river.
It's like Carcassonne with the river upgrade. You start every game by playing a game of Carcassonne.
That's it. Yeah,
that would actually. I would. Don't know. No. I'm kind of buying into that idea.
They can only go on the river.
Yeah, I kind of like that.
But you have to give your opponent a Watcher of the Water.
I kind of like that. Game. I mean, they have actually made this an army. Realized that Wood can take all of the dwarfs now. But I love making it worse and forcing them to deploy in water. Big fan of that.
Yeah. Anyway, we've gone off topic.
Yeah, we were talking about Assault on Raven Hill, sorry, and then we've gone massively.
Oh, I think we covered it.
That was all you wanted to say.
Yeah, I just hate it.
I do enjoy Leggy going to fight 7 and 3 attacks. Because, you know, at 105 he was essentially unusable when you think about it. So, you know.
I mean, I don't even know where it stands on like the competitive scale. Like,
I don't think it can be good. I think there's like you're gonna get too few models and some of them aren't very good. But like, I mean, maybe.
It's got a banner.
The points are weird because Leggy's 5 points.
It's got probably the best hero in the game.
What, Leggy at fight 7 with 3 attacks?
Legolas at fight 7 with 3 attacks. Yeah. And Orcrist. Kind of rate that.
And armor. Yeah.
What list wouldn't take that Legolas profile?
Rates on wings.
I'd still take him. 105 points.
Yeah, it's true. Anyway, the MESBG team know what they're doing. They know how to balance stuff. Fine. Look, it's okay. They've written the rules really clearly. It must be balanced.
I kind of feel a little bit sorry for them. I mean, not in like a meaningful way, but in like a kind of
you're sending thoughts and prayers.
Yeah, I kind of get it. If that's your job and you suddenly find that you don't have much time to make an entire edition of a game, but you've got to for a movie tie-in.
Yeah.
And then your boss goes to you, and it has to be different.
Okay.
Fuck. Like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you try and do something that you think everyone's going to love, and it turns out that actually quite a lot of them don't like it.
Yeah.
Eve.
Well, there we go.
That was a video.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know really if we have said anything, but
no.
We talked for an hour.
We've given something resembling an opinion, which is important.
Yeah, no, I agree with Bear. Do we ever say anything? No, not really. Not really. Yeah. See you next month.
Oi.
Peace out.
Don't unsubscribe.
No, please do.
We're tanking.
Yeah.
We're going for better picks in the next draft.
We're tanking for a better draft. Come on.